trash into art. That's what the outdoor exhibit A New View Camden is doing with large-scale installations like this. Featuring 6 sites of art, many from recycled materials, this exhibit aims to raise awareness of illegal dumping in the area, which hurts the community and costs taxpayers millions. We're here to talk with some of the minds behind this public art event. What is A New View Camden?
A New View Camden is a public art project that's funded by Bloomberg Philanthropies. The organization gave the city $1 million to use public art to address an urban issue. In this case, in Camden, we're addressing illegal dumping.
How does illegal dumping impact the community?
Illegal dumping is a big problem in urban areas and especially in Camden. It comes about because people have negative views of the city. Most of the dumping that happens here comes from outside of the city, in suburbs. People will leave their pallets, their Christmas trees, furniture, building materials. It costs the city $4 million a year to try to clean these sites.
What message is this exhibit trying to send?
We're trying to send the message that if we beautify these spaces, that they will remain clean and hopefully will also be a catalyst for the arts moving forward in Camden.
So it seems that you're fighting this problem with art pieces. Tell us about these works of art.
Art has always been used in a way to help the public better understand bigger issues. This particular project, we selected 8 artists, 6 sites. Most of the sites are places where illegal dumping was happening so that we could transform those into spaces where creative, innovative, fun things are happening.
The artists are from all across the country, and we did a nationwide search. Over 130 artists applied. Our curatorial team selected 8 artists. There are local artists, there are artists from the West Coast, from all over.
What is it about these large art pieces that you think will connect with people?
Art empowers people. It's the reason that I do the work that I have done over the years, because you can really make an impact on how people perceive themselves, people perceive their world, their environment, and other people.
Do you think this exhibit is a way of Camden standing up for itself and telling people this is what we stand for?
It's all about that, but it also is about doing a project in the city that helps to introduce more and more Camden as a creative placemaker. It's really important, and you think about the proximity of Camden to Philadelphia, there's not a whole lot of public art for people to engage in. And so I'm hoping this is a springboard for more things to come.
What do you want people who see this exhibit to walk away with?
I want them to walk away with a different view of Camden. I was born and raised here. I remember when it was a bustling metropolis. It was the 3rd largest seaport on the East Coast. Because of politics, the city is in tough shape, and it is rebuilding itself slowly and surely. But there are people here just like every place else. And the idea that just because they're majority black people means that other perceptions come into play. And so we're hoping maybe to disavow some people of some of those ideas.
And also, we're hoping that the residents of Camden will walk away with more pride in their city and that these kinds of public art projects can continue.
Do you think you could show us some of these pieces up close?
Sure, I would love to.
This looks like we're about to make pizza.
In fact, if you have a couple hours to stick around, we can make pizza. We're at Touching the Earth, which was made by Josh Sarantitis and Athena Steen. And this is, in fact, a working bread or pizza oven. And the community is allowed to make it. There is a video that you can watch online, so in 10 minutes you can learn how to fire up the pizza oven. Touching the Earth is really about being in the community. They wanted to create a beautiful space for the community. So part of the idea behind public art, of course, is not just so that the community can engage with the art, but also the idea that the community can use this space for birthday parties, or even for a poetry reading. Or we had a discussion here on the topic of illegal dumping a few weeks ago.
So what is this made of?
The process is called adobe.
Oh.
So it's straw and mud, which essentially creates a clay, a building material that's used out in the Southwest.
Right.
And Athena Steen comes from a family of Native American artists who do work in clay. And so the community helped with this build, which is the cool thing about this.
The texture is great.
The texture is cool. But then also the parklets pieces with the wooden structures with the plants are intended to work together, and that was the Josh Sarantitis part of the project, was the planning of where to put the plants.
Hello, Mr. Robot. Who do we have here?
We have here Meccan 11, the collector, and he is collecting solid waste here in Camden. So he represents what we want the earth to be. We want the earth to be cleaned up. And this was made by Tyler Fuqua Creations. He's 15 feet tall, weighs a couple of tons, and he came here on a flatbed truck all the way from Washington State in 2 pieces. They had to get like a special crane to lift the top part where you can kind of see where it's bolted in the middle.
Yeah. Tell me about this beautiful heart he's got.
His heart chamber has a really great story behind it. The artist wanted to work with local students. We set up classes with Morgan Village Creative Arts Academy here in Camden, and the students created designs for the heart chamber. The only stipulation was that it had to have some mirrors in it. So it was great because we got to connect via Zoom the students with the artist, and then the students went off and made designs, and then they made this short video to reveal the student that was selected from the class, and then they fabricated the heart box completely from recycled materials. It doesn't look like it because it's so pretty, and of course it represents the earth, so Meccan 11 holds the earth close to his heart.
I love that.
They needed a couple of more things to fill up his bag when they got here, and Tyler just walked over into the woods there and was able to find a few things to put in it. Some of that is actually illegally dumped Camden trash.
Well, this is the most stunning place for an exhibit. What do we have here?
This is Turntable by Slow Architecture, and it's made up of cut plastic bottles.
From here, they look like crystals.
And did you notice if you pull in from a distance, it really sparkles.
It does.
In the sunlight. And inside, the sort of bluish material you can see are surgical masks. When the pandemic happened, they thought, what kind of trash are we starting to see on the streets but surgical masks? So they decided to make the dome out of surgical masks. Turntable was inspired by the company RCA Victor, who recorded some of the 20th century greats in modern music, was just a few blocks south of here, the company headquarters. They've also incorporated into the piece through QR codes that you can use, and it will take you to a recorded piece of music that was recorded here in Camden by RCA.
That's fascinating.
You can actually go inside and look up inside the dome. It's open to the sky at the top.
You get a whole different perspective.
Get a whole different perspective from inside of the turntable. This particular site here at Cooper's Point Waterfront Park was not as much a physical dumping site as the others. I mean, perhaps a little bit, but really was more of a metaphorical dumping site in that there was, for a very long time here, Camden Riverfront Prison that for many years the neighbors fought to get rid of and were finally successful. And you can see what an absolutely incredible park this is.
Well, Noreen, you've showed us so many incredible pieces of art today. Thank you for teaching us all about a New View Camden exhibit.
You're very welcome. It was my pleasure.